Number two, frankly, I don't know why the president felt the need to tweet on this subject at all. You know, when you argue with a fool, you just prove there are two. And I consider Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Tlaib, Congresswoman Presley, I think is her name. They call themselves the Squad. I consider them to be fools. They hate America. They think America was wicked in its origins, and it's even more wicked today. They ought to be thanking America instead of calling America evil and wicked and racist. But this is America, and they have the right to their opinion. But I don't like to see the president even dignify their point of view. Besides that, I think that the Squad, as they call themselves, they are destroying the Democratic Party. You know, when your opponent is screwing up, don't interrupt him. Let him go. I mean, just looking at this from a political standpoint, if I didn't know better, I would think the members of the Squad were GOP plants. I mean, they think that illegal immigration, socialism, higher taxes, abortion are all moral goods. They think America, Israel, free enterprise are moral bads. That's not what most Americans believe. And that's kind of where I am on the subject. The president has explained his position. He has said, look, here's what I meant. If you're not happy living in America, leave. It's a free country, and I agree with that assessment.
Thank
Senator
you,
Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here today. Professor Goodwin, help me understand your point of view. I think this is a yes or no question. Do you support it being legal to abort an unborn child up to the moment of birth?
Senator Kennedy, it is not a yes or no question. I support women like Ms. Zarowski. Women across this...
No, ma'am, I don't... I think it is a yes or no question.
No, well, let me answer.
If there were a law that's... I'm just trying to understand your perspective, and I'm not accusing you of this.
Of course
not. But you know, people sort of talk around this issue. If there were a bill that said that a woman has an unfettered right to abort an unborn baby for any reason up to the moment of birth, would you vote yes or would you vote no?
Senator Kennedy, I refuse to be shackled by your question. What I have answered is that there are conditions that occur during pregnancy.
You don't know whether you would vote yes or no?
There are conditions during pregnancy that mean after 10 weeks,
no,
14 weeks,
I said
20 weeks,
discretion.
24 weeks,
you
conditions
would
such as
support,
Ms. Zarowski.
You're here advocating.
I would support her life.
I
would support her
too,
personhood.
But you're advocating a law.
I support her personhood.
You're advocating a law that says that an unborn baby can be aborted up to the moment of birth for any reason, are you not?
Let me clarify what the 14th Amendment says in the first sentence, that citizens of this United States are individuals that are born. That is what our Constitution says.
But why won't you answer my question, Professor? I'm not trying to argue. I just want to understand what your position is, and I think you're afraid to say that you do support that. If you do support it, I think you, just for the purpose of an intellectual discussion, you ought to just say so.
For purposes of an intellectual discussion, I'm happy to have that with you, but
Well, then
that's not the tone of...
could you answer my question? Do you support, please, I mean, you teach, okay, I'm sure you've had students ask this question. Do you support making it legal to abort an unborn baby for any reason, up to the moment before birth?
Senator, let's have that intellectual discussion that you want.
We could start if you'd answer my question. I can't go to my next question until you answer that question.
I want you to be able to go to your second and your third questions. I do. But as I have explained, there are many different conditions.
No, I said unfettered discretion. No conditions. I'm making it easy for you.
Well, I've already shared with you, Senator, that I support women's
I don't want to use all my time. You're not going to answer it, and that is your right. But I would respect you more if you just say, "Here's my answer."
I'm sorry that you don't respect me very much.
I do respect you, but I said I'd respect you more if you just answer my question. Doctor, tell me how to say your last name. Rubenhorst. Ms. Dr. Rubenhorst, do you support a law that would allow, for any reason, unfettered discretion, the abortion of an unborn child up until the moment of birth?
No.
You don't. Dr. Verma?
Senator Kennedy, so I'm the one doctor in this room that does provide abortion care, and I can tell you that does not reflect the reality of abortion care.
I understand. I'm just asking the question.
It simply doesn't
But do you support it? There are bills before Congress that will allow that to happen. You don't support it, or are you going to not answer my question?
As the doctor in this room who does provide abortion care, that is not how abortion care in this country works. It's a hypothetical that does a disservice to our
But if a patient came to you and said, I'm going to probably have a baby this week and I've changed my mind, and I would like you, doctor, to abort the child, would you do it?
That is not how abortion care in this country works.
But if a patient did, would you do it?
My job as the doctor is to look at each individual situation.
I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but I can tell neither you nor the professor will answer my question. I think you both have an opinion, and I don't understand why you won't share it. We're going to solve this problem.
I've provided care for a few years, and I've never seen that situation.
How about you, Doc? Would you?
Do not support unfettered abortion, and I would like to point out that if a woman did have a life-threatening condition in pregnancy past approximately 22 weeks, that baby can be delivered alive by induction or C-section, and we can try to save that baby. The intent of abortion is a dead baby, and that is not necessary in that situation.
I mean, I want you to all understand where I'm coming from. This is a tough issue. And it's a tough issue because there's some tough questions we've got to answer. And when you won't answer the questions, when you're invited by my Democratic friends, the majority, and you won't answer the most fundamental question, we've got a bill in front of us that will basically say a woman has the unfettered right to abort at any time for any reason up to the moment of birth. And that's a gut check issue. And I would expect you as experts to answer that truthfully, how you do it. Thank you for your indulgence, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Ossoff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to all of the witnesses for joining us and sharing your experiences and perspective. It's been tremendously impactful to hear from you. And Mr. Chairman, I do want to note and acknowledge that we have a Georgia physician with us, and Dr. Verma. Thank you for your work providing health care for Georgia women at a time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for calling this hearing. Ms. Umberger, you were in a Georgia state prison?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And Ms. LeBoy, am I saying your name right?
Yes, sir.
Your daughter was in a state prison?
Yes, York Correctional.
And Georgia?
York Correctional in Connecticut.
In Connecticut.
In Niantic, Connecticut, okay. Yes.
Well, I want to thank both of you for coming. It's, I mean, your testimony was instructive, but that sounds kind of sterile when you put it that way. It was It was also moving. I know these 4 colleagues well. Hope we'll have another hearing on this subject. I would like to sit down with them and others and try to figure out how to address this problem.
Yeah.
I've had this discussion with Senator Booker before. I think we need to address the issue of solitary confinement in our prisons. We need to involve law enforcement. I'm hoping in another hearing we'll offer the Georgia state officials the chance to come in and tell us what happened here and offer constructive suggestions. I guess what I'm saying is I pledge to you to try to sit down and let's see if we can address this problem. I'm going to have to leave in a second. I don't want you to be offended by that. We've got a vote going on.
Okay.
Dr. Suffren, tell me your credentials again.
I'm a board-certified obstetrician gynecologist, and I also have a doctoral degree.
Yes, ma'am. And you're a professor?
I'm a professor at Johns Hopkins University.
And the medical school, or?
In the School of Medicine and at the School of Public Health.
Okay. You're a chaired professor, or?
I am not.
Okay. All right. But you represent, or you are a part of the Johns Hopkins system?
I am,
Yeah.
but I'm not representing Johns Hopkins today.
Understand. Well, if we're going to solve this problem, we've got to be candid with each other. Do you have a Twitter account?
Thank you, Senator, for your question, but I'm here today to talk about my expertise on reproductive health care for incarcerated women.
Is your Twitter account jail care?
That is thank you, Senator. That is a Twitter account that is associated with a book that I published in 2017. But I'm really here today to talk about my expertise on reproductive health care and pregnancy care for incarcerated women.
On September 29th of 2018, at 3:33, I'm going to read you one of your tweets. These are your words, not mine. Quote, Piper reminding us that gathering to discuss ending incarceration of women girls. Piper reminding us that gathering to discuss ending incarceration of women and girls is anecdote to white supremacist Kavanaugh shit show. Professor, did I read that correctly?
Thank you for reciting that. I'm really here today to talk about research and improving conditions for incarcerated pregnant women.
Were you speaking for Johns Hopkins when you sent this out?
I was not speaking for Johns Hopkins.
Well, I'd like to solve this problem, Professor. But we're not going to solve it with that kind of attitude. Thank you, ladies, for being here. I appreciate the courage that it took to come forward today.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
As tempted as I am, Dr. Suffren, to take the bait